Welcome to the Y Connect podcast. As the heartbeat of the community, the Y is a connector where people of all ages and walks of life come together to elevate their health, wellness, education, and essential life skills. Hear the stories of impact and join the authentic conversations where together we'll discover the journeys and pathways people take to connect through the Y. Now your hosts, Zarina, Robert, and Allison.
Hello, friends. How's it going?
Hey, how's everybody doing? Good to see you guys.
Our guests are already chiming in. All right.
I love the energy.
Let's get this party started.
Yes.
Let's get it started. We're going to go ahead and get it started since Mr. Art chimed in. Well, this month, the nation is celebrating National Black Business Month, a time to recognize and support Black entrepreneurs. At the Y, we are honored to introduce you to two prominent Black business owners who have very compelling stories and who also happen to serve the Y as community engagement board members. Pamela Bishop is the founder and CEO of Ascendex, which offers deep expertise in streaming, cloud computing, product development, strategy, and cybersecurity. Pamela has spent 20 years designing and building networks for Fortune 500 companies, earning her undergrad from the University of Chicago, an MBA from Columbia University, and a master's degree from Georgia Tech and Harvard University. Pamela has made significant contributions to the field of technology. She has worked with many organizations such as Cisco, Dell, NCR, AT&T, and more. She also serves the community in multiple ways as a board member of the Andrew and Walter Young Family Y, the Renee Montgomery Foundation, and the National Black Artists Foundation. Now, Mr. Art Roman began his professional career in sales industry, working for companies like Colonial Bakery and Frito-Lay. Following his heart, he started his own professional landscaping business, and within the first 3 years gained 150 client base, including organizations such as MARTA, Fulton and DeKalb counties, the City of Atlanta, Decatur, and East Point. Through his professional success, Art was driven by a desire to mentor and coach young people. He has coached hundreds of youth, many whom have endured challenging social economic situations. Establishing the Youth Foundation Impact Leaders, Art has ensured more than 200 young people have access to opportunities, including thousands of dollars in scholarships and endowment awards. In addition to his community service and his commitment to Impact Leaders Incorporated, he is an active member of the DeKalb County chapter of 100 Black Men and board member of the Andrew and Walter Family YMCA. Welcome, you guys.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
We are so glad to have you here, and I'm just going to ask the first question of both of you. We'd love to hear you share what was the inspiration behind starting your businesses and the journey that led you to where you are today. Pamela, would you like to start?
Sure. I'm a single mother with two children, and I was working in corporate for a long time, really doing what I had to do to make sure that I could create opportunities for my children, make sure I could pay for college. But I built a lot of great products for large corporations, and I realized that, that's my IP. I could be owning that myself. I could be betting on myself and leveraging myself. So I decided that I would try to be entrepreneurial. Once my children were in a position where I felt that we were stable and I could take that gamble, I did, and it really paid off. So it's been 10 years now of really running and grinding, but it's been great. All my experiences in corporate really helped me create, I think, a really great product and a really great team that I'm really proud of.
Thank you. Art, how about your journey and what led you to be inspired to start your own business?
Yes, I wanted the opportunity once I started a family to spend time with my kids. I was one that was raised without a father. I come from a single parent home, and I was real active in sports. So I played football, basketball, ran track. I played baseball, so sports kept me away from some of the things that were in my neighborhood that were not good for me. So for me, I wanted to be able to give back. I wanted to start spending more time, quality time with my kids. Again, corporate I did well in corporate over at Frito-Lay. And so I said, listen, in order to spend that time that I need, that quality time, which I knew young men would need, I decided to start my business, which I wouldn't trade it for anything. It has really been the cornerstone of what we've been able to change in this generation.
Oh, that's
I
great.
love that both of you
That's
mentioned
great.
your children as that inspiration, that
Yeah.
you really branched off and took a chance on yourself, but really leaning into the fact that you were parents.
Right.
Absolutely. Having the
Yes,
opportunity.
for me, go ahead, Rob.
I'm sorry. Please go ahead. All right, please.
No, just for me, and I still say right now, that's the most important thing that we can do as parents is spend time with kids. I know sometimes we get caught up with, our successes and the things that we can get as far as, accomplishments. But for me, just that time spent, I saw the value in that. And listen, me coming up without that time, I knew what it would do if I were to spend that time with my kids.
Yeah, and
That's
it's
right.
not just the time, it's actually our kids seeing us be fearless, because how
Right.
can we expect them
Yeah.
to be fearless if we don't give them an example of that? So I think having
Exactly.
my children see that I took that leap and expected the net to appear, I think that it's really impacted, influenced the way they live their life, and I'm really proud of that.
Definitely.
Love
Yes.
that.
Excellent. I was going to just mention, be it that both of you are board members for the branch in which I work. I've had an opportunity to actually work with both of you in different capacities. I've sat in a board room meeting. I'm sorry, with Pam, and can hear her passion, can hear her expertise in the realm of IT, and just sat back in awe. And if I'm not mistaken, Pam, you've had an opportunity to meet with our senior level advisors or senior level management in regards to our IT, to see how you could better help our infrastructure, especially as we're going through this major renovation. And
Yeah.
with Art, I've had an opportunity. This was just a few weeks ago when we were getting ready for our grand opening of our sports court, the dedication of our sports court, and just listening to him talk about how passionate he is about working with the youth and coaching, and just being involved in the youth's lives, and just lifting them up. It's extraordinary. So I'm extremely proud of the opportunity to be able to work with you side by side, not only in the capacity of you being board members and I being a employer of the Y for the Andrew and Walter Young Family YMCA, but just having the opportunity just to hear your stories, and just being uplifted and encouraged by them stories. Pamela, this question's for you. What unique perspectives or experiences do you feel you bring to your industry as a Black entrepreneur?
I think access, identity, and representation. A lot of times I'm in meetings where I'm the only woman, but oftentimes, most times, the only person of color. So I think showing up, making sure I create opportunities for other people like me, men and women, seeing our children have opportunities for access. Every time I work a project, there's always a philanthropic component to it. I always want to make sure that we're giving back to the community, especially, our children of color who oftentimes, are live in compromised situations where they don't have the same level of access of other kids. So for me, it's just always showing up and really making sure that I'm always on my game, because a lot of times they don't expect me to be the person. They expect me to be the project manager, or I'm the salesperson, or I'm the assistant or something. They don't understand that I'm the engineer. So I think that's kind of summarizes my experiences and what I try to bring to my experiences every time I show up.
Absolutely.
Humanity with being an engineer. It's fantastic.
It is fantastic.
Trying to lead with compassion.
You can't go wrong with leading with compassion. So my question is for Mr. Art. So collaboration and community often play a significant role in business growth. How have you leveraged networks within the Black business community to foster growth and support?
Yeah, first and foremost, for me, partnership. I'm real big on partnering with those that have come before me, and even I've been mentored and still being mentored. And so for me, I was able to, when I got ready to step out and start my business, I actually went to work for another company. Went to work for another company that was doing what I wanted to do, and so just being able to connect with people that's already doing what I was able to do, and then being mentored, and also having a support team by reaching out to different people that knew who I was and knew what I wanted to do. I shared my story with them, told them that I was ready to take a leap. I was ready to get out of the corporate world, and they, sometimes they even say, "Hey, Art, you sure this is what you want to do?" But yeah, that's what I was led to do. So it's been good for me. I had an opportunity to when I got with with my mentors, they taught me policies and procedures. I even took classes to try to educate myself in the landscape space. So it's been I wouldn't trade it for anything, yeah, that's kind of what it was. Just partnership, I would say, is the most important piece for me, and then mentoring and being mentored.
And I would
As I
say, Mr. Art.
understand it. Oh, go ahead, Zarina, please.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was going to publicly thank Mr. Art for partnering.
That's where I was
with Author
going,
and
because
Blank.
you gave me a heads up about that.
Yes, so
Perfect.
you partnered with EA Ware and came here with your landscaping partners and did the beautification for our outside playground, and we got our hands dirty. Robert was actually with us as well, and we were
Yeah.
planting beans. I mean, it was so amazing, and the kids are really enjoying that space right now. So thank you for that.
Good,
That was a
good.
lot of
Thanks
fun
for
that
having
day.
me. Thank you,
That was a lot
I
of
have
fun.
a
Robert. I
question.
think that you
Oh, go
got
ahead.
you got a little workout in, didn't you?
Yeah, I got a little sweat that day.
You did a great
My
job. Did a great job.
question um, for both of you is, no doubt you both have experienced some challenges along the way. Could you share how you overcame them to achieve the success that you have today?
I think for me, it was, I'm not going to lie, it was a growth opportunity for me as a person. I actually had some pretty misogynistic and hostile experiences early in my career when I joined Cisco, which I was really surprised about. And it wasn't even external, a lot of it was internal. But I really had to, one, I'm a strong woman of faith. I really had to kind of do a lot of personal inspection, and I had to remember who I was. And that's really the thing that's carried me on. I know who I am at the core. I know what I'm about. I know what I stand for. And I'm not going to compromise on that. And I will say that it took some maturity on my part to get there. I would love to say that it happened decades ago, just barely. But that's the one thing that the way that I've overcome is just really, really being comfortable with who I am and where I am.
I love that.
Good. Awesome.
Art, how about you?
Yeah.
Could you share
Yeah,
some of
for
the
me,
challenges you might have experienced?
yeah, I just think back when I first started, uh, just trying to do it seemed overwhelming, but I really believed in myself. And I coached that to my kids, is that, you have to be, there's a shirt that I give them all the time, right? Every kid that come through our program, we give them a shirt. On the front, the shirt says believe, right? And then on the back of the shirt, it says fear and doubt kills dreams. So for me, it was practicing what I preach. It's pretty much, hey, coach, you talk about living your dream, you talk about doing these things. And so that's kind of how I overcame some of the obstacles that I had. Now, one of the most challenging part for me was having to get equipment. Doing landscaping, you got to have a lot of equipment, and so it was challenging because trying to get a loan and that kind of thing, was just not happening. So I had to resort to other means. And so what I did was I waited till the guys that had equipment guys that were willing to sell me their used equipment. I would get it and use it. So that was big. And then trying to get into the commercial realm with commercial contracts for landscaping for us has been huge and still is to this day. And so what I did was I found out that I could be a subcontractor. So what I would do is partner up with bigger organizations and be a subcontractor. That would give me experience, and also, I was able to build, best practices and those kind of things. So I was able to eventually go out and bid on commercial work. So overcoming, getting into the commercial realm, leaving the residential, going into the commercial realm, and then also capital to fund my business.
Right.
Thank you.
Hey, artist, you have one of those shirts in an adult size. I need one of those shirts.
Absolutely.
Hey, you put it on. The thing about it when you put it on now, the thing about it when you put it on, it's going to take it to another level.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I said. If they come in
that.
adult sizes, next board meeting, bring one of those shirts.
Got you. I definitely get you one.
It.
Yeah.
I love it. And, both of you have spoken highly of your mentors. And it just kind of brought me back to when I began interviewing here and was able to get my foot through the door. One of the very first things that Miss Montiel told me was, I need a mentor, I need a coach, and I need a sponsor. So what you're saying is really resonating and supporting what she said, and avenues in which I'm currently walking and searching. So many aspiring entrepreneurs look up to successful business owners such as yourselves. What advice would you give to young Black individuals interested in starting their own ventures? And the question's for both of you. So Pamela, if you would go first.
I think just believe in your vision, believe in your dream, believe in that what you're trying to achieve, and don't let the naysayers, don't let the people who want to introduce doubt, like, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you're able to? Stay focused, stay diligent. Something Art said about, subcontracting, finding somebody under which maybe you can do some work in order to kind of get your sea legs. That kind of stuff is important. Making sure you know your craft. Education is continual. I go to class all the time. I love school. I try to learn new things. I try to keep myself current. But first and foremost, have that mental fortitude to know that if it's something you really believe in it, do not let anybody deter your journey.
All right.
Stay focused, stay true to yourself. That's what I would say.
Great work.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. One of the things I think that keeps young people from being doing what they want to do is fear. Don't be afraid. Again, I go with that believe in yourself first. And also I'm a Christian guy, and a godly man, and so believe in God, but don't be afraid to partner up and be mentored. A lot of times people think that, hey, I'm grown now, I don't need to be a mentor. I don't need a mentor. So, but mentoring never stops. And so I like that. And then be willing to take a step back to go forward. In other words, what I had to do was come out of management and go back on the truck as a salesperson in order to get the hours I needed in order for me to do two things: continue to work and provide for my family, but also give me time to go out and service the clients that I had just picked up. So I had to come out of management. I had to take a step back when it comes to, me, in order for me to go forward. And so also I agree with Pamela said about do your research. Whatever you want to be or whatever you want to do, make sure that you do your research. Make sure that you understand what you're getting into. And one of the best things that you can do is look back and see what has already happened in that field. As you continue to look forward, never forget to look back and don't stay back. You look back, see what has happened, and then see where you need and where you're trying to go.
Yeah, Art, you said something really interesting that I hadn't thought about. It's humility. When you talk about taking that step back, how important it is to have that humility, right? To do what you have to do. You might have to take a step back to take steps forward. So I really love that about what you said, that component of humility is super important. I don't think we give it enough emphasis or credit or acknowledgement.
All right. Well, thank you both so much for sharing with us about your businesses and celebrating Black Business Month with us. As we do at the end of our episode, we would love to know how you got connected with the Y. What was your pathway to the YMCA?
Well, I grew up in the Y. I'm from Detroit. My parents worked multiple jobs. My mom put my dad through school, and so my dad was working two full-time jobs, driving a 7-Up truck, working at Edison and going to school. And my mom was an X-ray ultrasound tech at the time with multiple jobs. So we were just kind of dropped at the Y. In the same type of community at the Y that I serve. But it was probably the best experience. I still have the same friends from the Detroit Y that I grew up with. And I went very early. I didn't do after school, but I did every summer. I was there. I learned to swim there. I went camping there. I got my lifeguard certification there. It was the best experience. And some of the mentors that I had, even going to college, I had several people at the Y write my recommendations when I went to college. So for me, it's a personal journey. I make sure that my children maintain Y memberships, even though my daughter's away at college. Her membership is at the Y in which I serve. My son, he's a pilot. He travels around the world, but he has a Y membership. It's at the Y that I serve because I think it's important. That investment is important, and that experience when they're home is important. So yeah, that's my journey.
That's right.
Wow, that's amazing. We have similar journeys, right? As a kid, I learned to swim over at Butler Street YMCA. I remember the Y having a camp off campus. It was like at one of the lakes. I don't know if it was Lake Winnipesaukee or something back in the day, but I went out to this cabin and I learned to shoot bow and arrow. We got to ride horses. Yeah. I mean, it was just an amazing week with the Y, and to this day I'll never forget it. But I learned to swim also at the Y, and my kids also grew up at the Y. They played soccer. They was able to learn to swim. They all became lifeguards and were able to go back and work sometimes during the summertime for some of the summer programs. But one of the things that Y have really done for me and how I was able to come even work with the Y was one of my good friends that I used to work with at Colonial Bacon had the account at Y. And he called me. He said, "Art, I need some help, man. It's getting more than I can do." And so I came over to help him. And then eventually he just said, "Listen, I'm just going to give it to you." And so, I just kind of filled in for him. It kind of happens. And it's just when God has something for you and has a path for you, he will make a way for you. I never knew, it wasn't my intention to even come over and work like that, right? But by me being obedient to what he said do by going over helping this young man, it allowed me the opportunity. Once I got that opportunity and I saw the impact that the Y was having from an adult lenses and from a service that the Y was doing over in East Lake. I was over in that East Lake area. And I saw what the Y was doing, and I said, "Listen, I want to be a part of this. I wanted to be more than just a vendor. I wanted to be, I wanted to have that impact that the Y was having." So the Y had such an impact on me that I said, "What else can I do? Can I be an extension of what the Y do?" Right? And so I started a nonprofit. I did my research on nonprofit. I just took a class on nonprofit, and so it allowed me to continue to take what I had done in coaching, take it to another level. We have 5 P's that we believe in our organization. They're a place to go. Kids need a place to go. It's so important to have a place to go. Programming. They need programs, and they need present. They need for us to be present. Purpose. They need to know their purpose, and last but not least, kids need to know how to pray. They need to know how to pray, and so we do those things with our 5 P's over at our nonprofit. And I just kind of was like a sponge around the Y, and I took what the Y is doing. Is not at the level the Y is doing it. We're still in the beginning with what we're doing, but we're making some road. We're doing some things.
That's great.
Yeah.
Hit me up, Art, if you need some help. If there's anything I can do to lean in to help you.
Don't say that. I need you.
I'm here for you. I'm here for it. Okay. Let me know.
That's good to know. Yeah, I need some help.
just
Yes.
love the fact that you both have deep why histories and that you are paying it forward today, continuing to pay it forward in your local community. It just, it is so inspiring. Thank you both. And I want to thank Montiel Weeks for introducing us to you both to this podcast. She came up with this idea to do an episode on the fact that this month is National Black Business Month, and she immediately recommended you both. And man, did you deliver. So thank you.
It's an honor.
Thank
you.
Yes.
Certainly.
Y'all have been
Yes,
amazing.
yes, definitely. Thank you for the opportunity. And I
so
look
much.
forward to continue to growing with the Y. Yes.
Amen.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Yeah,
Thank you
you
so
guys,
much.
I'll take care.
Thank you for listening to the Y Podcast. To continue the conversation or to find your closest Y, please connect with us at ymcaatlanta.org and sign up for our newsletter, Healthy Together.